Well, hello there, and welcome to this week's Week in Review. Another full week of information. They are just like, I guess, getting back into working mode for 2021. So let's start off with this week on the Chill Business Journey. I talk about social ads on Pinterest and LinkedIn. We've kind of had this series all month about social ads on various platforms and things you need to do to prepare for that. So if you head on over to chilldigitalmarketing.com/83, you can catch that latest episode. And I'd also like to remind you to join us in our free Facebook group, the Chill Collaborative for DIY Marketing, where we continue the conversations that I have on the other podcast. And let's dive into this week's news. So in Facebook news, they are expanding their Climate Science Information Center. And that's where you can get science-based news, approachable information, and actionable resources for things that have to do with climate change. They also announced that they've started rolling out the ability to have multiple user accounts tied to one single Oculus VR set. So this way, there may be one set in a household and you can let someone else create their own account and share the device. But that also allows them not to be having access to your personal information when they're using the headset. So a really good improvement if you ask me. And then did you hear about the shutdown about news information from Facebook being shared in Australia? Yeah, that's a thing. It happened and it was a big deal. Basically, the Australian government was wanting to come up or creating a law that in order for news articles to be shared, whether it's like Google, Facebook, Twitter, any platform, that those platforms would have to pay the news source places. And they're like, we're helping distribute their information, and I've always questioned it should be gated at the news sites level. And a lot of people will see that where you get so many free articles a month and then you have to have a subscription. Anyway, it was a big blow up in the Facebook universe, and that enacted the leaders in Australia to sit down with Facebook and reevaluate and come up with a new deal regarding that. So if you are in Australia in the coming days, you should be able to get news again in your feeds. Be on the lookout for that as they hash that all out. They're also improving their platform with tools to to protect the exploitation of children. And the goal is to prevent abuse, detect and report content that violates their policies, and working with experts and authorities to keep the kids safe on the platform. They also released their latest U.S. State of Small Business report in partnership with the Small Business Roundtable. So check that out if you want to learn more about that information. And if you're just getting started with a business, then you want to check out Facebook's Blueprint platform, which is their online training platform. And there you can learn all you need to know about branding your business in the process of getting set up. And then in Instagram news, they stated they already blur images that could be triggering as they relate to self-harm and eating disorders. But in respect for National Eating Disorder Awareness Week, which we are in right now, they're releasing new resources like local eating disorder hotlines in certain countries. So in UK, Canada, and Australia. And then they also have resources for here in the US. Twitter has started a #StandForAsians campaign. And as racism and xenophobia continue to rise against Asians, mostly due to COVID, they're putting out a call for allyship, like I said, with the #StandForAsians. And they are going to share how you can learn, ask, show up, and speak up. In Pinterest news, they're doing their part to shed light on eating disorders this week, again in partnership with the National Eating Disorder Association. And this year's theme is everybody, not everybody one word, every one word body, have a seat at the table. So Pinterest is giving ad credits to NED Awareness Week and sharing the messaging about events and different roundtables taking place around that topic. LinkedIn has announced new features for pages on their platform, and these are going to be free for all company pages. So you now have a company tab. on your page if you have a business page, and that's where your employees can stay connected. Page admins can also curate and share content through recommended tools for their company employees, and then they also have a suggesting trending articles that can be used with a content suggestion tool. And they're also bringing lead gen forms directly into product pages. So if your company page also has a product page, you are going to have lead gen forms available for free on that. And they're also bringing stories to pages. So a lot of updates to company pages on the platform. If you join LinkedIn on Live with Marketers on February 25th at 11 a.m. Pacific time, you can listen to a panel of experts talk about full funnel myths debunked. So if you're really diving into your sales funnels, that could be a great panel to listen to. YouTube announced a new choice for parents that have teens or tweens. So maybe they've outgrown the new YouTube Kids. It's not so new, but not a couple of years. And this is with supervised accounts for tweens and teens. So they'll start in the coming months with the beta version that users can use where the parent can select from 3 kind of levels of access, and they're calling them Explore, Explore More, and More of YouTube. So like graduated access to more videos on YouTube. They've also launched Creator Voices, where we can all learn from successful creators and how they use the platform and what they have learned along the way. Their first creator is Evelyn from the Internets, and she's also a member of the inaugural Black Voices class of 2021 that I had mentioned a few weeks ago. YouTube has also announced their latest lineup of YouTube originals for YouTube Kids. So if you do have a younger one still on YouTube Kids, tongue twister, go check that out to see what kind of shows are coming out. And while COVID definitely put a kink in YouTube Spaces project, if you remember that, that's where they set up brick and mortar studios and learning hubs where people can go and grow with the platform. You know, COVID put a kink in that, but they are ramping up the programming for 2021. They're not bringing back permanent spaces that they had open around the world, but they are going to expand programming and then have hybrid situations, and they will, as regulations allow, bring those pop-ups back. In TikTok news, they announced the first 100 Black creators and music artists that are joining their 3-month incubator program called TikTok for Black Creatives. And they had over 5,000 applicants in 24 hours for this program. So I can't wait to see what kind of successful results they get out of that programming. They also partnered with the UFC to offer live partnered sports coverage, as well as in the soccer realm with the Portland Timbers and Portland Thorns FC. So if you are a sports fan, TikTok's bringing some live behind the scenes tools to you. And in their effort to provide inclusive and supportive environment on their platform, they are, in recognition of National Eating Disorder Week, releasing new in-app support resources. So when someone searches on phrases or hashtags related to eating disorders, they're going to be given access to the National Eating Disorder Association helpline here in the US, as well as tips for identifying negative self-talk from provided by experts in the field. And they're also promoting the hashtag NED awareness for body inclusivity. They've also released their second half of 2020 transparency report, so it provides some good insights into the things that they are doing to keep their platform safe. In this week's Allyship segment of the week, I want to return to a podcast that I've mentioned in the past, and that's Code Switch by NPR. Hopefully you're already subscribed like I am and you get their latest episodes as soon as they are released. But today I want to share a new project that they have launched called the Code Switch Fellows. And within this, there's 2 categories. One is for recent college graduates, and one is for reporting fellowships for working journalists. So if you or someone you know qualifies, be sure to let them know about it, or you fill out the application for it. I believe it's through March 12th that they are accepting applications into this fellow. I will have the link for that as well as all the other news on the page for our Week in Review, which you can find at chilleddigitalmarketing.com/week in review. And that's a wrap for this week's news. See you next week. Bye-bye.